Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, Blonde Buzzard Books. I know it's been 4 months. I started this channel and then immediately was like, actually I'm really busy. But I am back now and I am here to discuss with you every book that I read in the time that I was not posting. So this video is going to be everything that I read in February and March of 2026. Before we get started, you might notice that my background is a little bit different because part of why I was so busy and not posting is because we were remodeling the store. Yay! Yeah, so it used to be just a used bookstore. Now we are a new and used bookstore. We did a big, huge remodel. It was crazy. That's a different conversation for a different time, though. We have a lot of books to get through today, so let's get started. We must first start with the dishonorable mentions, which are the books that I did not finish in the months of February and March. The first book that falls into this category is going to be The Ritual by Adam Neville? I don't know, girl. Yeah, I picked this one up because I watched the movie in college and thought it was really good. I just needed a quick audiobook to listen to. It sounded interesting. I love something like witchy and foresty and weird. So yeah, I don't know. I was just really excited about it. So in case you don't know, the novel follows 4 college, actually, they're university friends. They met at university, yeah, who haven't really talked in a long time, and they're kind of coming back together as a group to go on this kind of reunion hiking trip in the middle of the remote woods in Sweden. 2 of them are like really fit, buff, like, you know, whatever, and the other 2 are family men who maybe haven't taken the best care of themselves, which is totally fine, except for they're going on like a 3-day crazy bananas hike through the wilderness. So about halfway through that trip, there start becoming some problems because the men who are less fit are struggling to make it through. So they decide that they are going to abandon their trail that they're on and they're going to cut through the woods to get back to town. It's going to make the trip so much shorter, blah, 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 all this stuff. You know how it goes. Obviously, this is a terrible idea, and they run upon this, like, horrific ancient horror, etc., etc. Everybody dies, you know, whatever. So, actually, if you watched the movie The Ritual, you're all set. You're done. You don't have to read the book. I got over 35% of the way through the book, and I just did not feel like I learned anything new about the characters. You know, usually when you like a movie, like if you see a movie adaptation first and you like it, you want to read the book because you want to get to know these characters on a deeper level and you want to know more about their internal dialogues. Well, none of that is in this book, so don't even worry about it. You're all good. The next book on my DNF list is going to be The Hunting Wives by May Cobb. Okay, I picked this up because I'm a small town girl from Texas, okay? I have seen my fair share of small town drama, and I've heard really good things about this book, so I thought this is going to be right up my alley. Yeah, it turns out it was a little too far up my alley. We'll get there. So, The Hunting Wives follows a free spirit from Chicago who moves her family to a small town in Texas, which they say small, by the way. No, it's not, okay? It's not that small. I digress. Anyway, she moves them to a small town in Texas in the hopes of quelling some of her wilder tendencies and urges. Apparently, she's kind of a party girl, and she's trying to be, you know, the wife and mom that has a momstagram and a garden and all that kind of stuff. So she moves her family to a small town, yeah, in the hopes of just getting a little normaler, which, fair enough, girl. Whatever. Immediately, as soon as she gets to town, she becomes completely enthralled with this really exclusive friend group of, like, the richest, whitest moms in town, and she is determined to get in good with them. Apparently, a lot of murder and drama goes on after that. I couldn't tell you because I quit probably 35% of the way in, because it was hitting too close to home, baby. I tell you what, I've seen this movie before, and I don't really care to see it again. All these women in this book are insufferable, okay? The main character, I don't like her. None of the rest of the characters don't like them either. So I got to reading and actually listening. I listened to this one, but I got to listen and I thought, you know what? I don't care. I've seen it before, and I don't care. So I moved on. Third DNF, and this one doesn't go in the dishonorable mentions category, is Wuthering Heights. Okay, and you know why I wanted to read this. This was February. The movie had just come out. This would have been a really topical video had I, done what I was supposed to do and posted the video then. I mean, I don't know. It's like a major classic. I've heard people say that it's kind of a more gothic, like, romance option. So I thought that would be really good for me. I wanted to see the movie, so, I picked up a copy. So Wuthering Heights is a classic novel. It's about two families and their complicated relationships. It deals with issues like racism, classism, women's autonomy, and a lot more. It lays out the story of Catherine Earnshaw and her adopted brother Heathcliff and their, like, almost love story that doesn't come to be. But of course, really, all of this is just what I've heard, because I did not finish this book. I got to chapter 5, and then I gave up, because I'm too dumb. Not really. Okay, I'm being dramatic. I'm not too stupid for Wuthering Heights. Duh. But I'm just, like, I was at a point, especially over these last 4 months, hence why I haven't been posting, where I've just been so busy, and, like, I really like to dig my heels into a book and, like, really get into it. But right now I was just feeling like I didn't have the time to really jump into it. So, not necessarily going on the DNF shelf forever. I'm sure I will pick it back up. Not right now, though. Before we get into the books that I'm actually going to rate from least liked to most liked, I do have to throw in Animal Farm. I listened to Animal Farm in, like, a day. In high school, I was in, like, advanced placement English classes, and for some reason the advanced placement English classes didn't go over Animal Farm. We didn't read it. I thought that was odd, and I just really felt like I was, like, missing something from my cultural education. So I did listen to Animal Farm. Obviously I'm not gonna rate Animal Farm. It's Animal Farm, I mean, I read it, it's done. It's not that I, like, disliked it or loved it, it's just a book that I read. So I just feel like, who am I to rate Animal Farm? You know what I mean? Now we are getting into the actual ratings. These are books that I did finish, and we are going to put them in order of least liked to most liked. And the first book on the list, the one I liked the least, is going to be Bunny by Mona Awad? What? I'm so sorry, Mona, if you see this. I picked this up because it's been hailed on the internet as a weird girl horror must read. Like, I saw so many recommendations for this book, so many good reviews. I was like, all right, let's do it. So the novel follows Samantha, who is a creative writing student. She is in a very small cohort of her and 4 other girls at this very prestigious writing school. It's not a writing school. It's a prestigious writing program. Whatever, okay? The other 4 girls in her cohort are very close-knit in, like, a really culty, like, weird way. Like, they're just way too into each other, and Samantha is very much like a cool girl. Like, she's not like other girls. She has a cool friend who's her best friend, and, like, they don't even hang out with anybody else because, like, they're just, like, cool and different, and, like, they smoke cigarettes, and, like, eventually she does get sucked into this friend group of these 4 women, the bunnies, because they call each other Bunny. Can't tell you why, but they call each other Bunny. So eventually she gets sucked in, and she kind of becomes one of the bunnies. And not long after, a mysterious man appears who is determined to unravel the bunnies. Okay, I really, really, really wanted to like this book. There are a lot of cool concepts here, none of which I can really get into without like spoiling it. But it's very well written in the sense that the words, like every single word in the book feels very intentionally chosen, and the imagery is very vivid. That being said, there's a lot of weird misogyny going on in the book that I'm having a hard time getting behind. Like I said, Samantha is a cool girl who likes cool stuff, and she doesn't wear pink, she wears black, and she has like a raccoon tail, you know, dye job, and she's just like so cool. And before we learned that the bunnies might be awful for other reasons, the bunnies are awful because they're a group of women who like each other and show tunes. Okay. Oh no, they're traditionally feminine. They like to braid each other's hair. Like, oh, it's awful. I don't know. I was expecting the whole time that there was going to be this like subversive, like Mean Girls, you know, you can be a bitch whether you like to wear pink or not kind of thing going on, and that never came. So, yeah, I get it. Okay, maybe Samantha is meant to be an unreliable narrator. Well, I know she's meant to be an unreliable narrator, so maybe she's meant to be like a little bit misogynistic and insufferable and all these things, but I also feel that the misogyny kind of leaks into some plot functions, which I can't really talk about because it would be spoiling the book, but, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, sure, but I think it's more than that. I think this is a good excuse. You know? Next, we're going to talk about Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. Tremblay? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce names. Leave me alone. We bought this one for the store because, again, I had seen it highly recommended on the internet, and the cover and the concept are interesting. So, I purchased it for the store, and then once I was actually holding it in my hand and like looking at it and reading the blurb again, I was like, you know what? Let's read it. Why not? So, Horror Movie follows a nameless main character who is the last surviving cast member of a 90s failed horror movie that was called Horror Movie. Despite the fact that the film is unreleased, it has a cult following online. When a reboot of the movie is finally greenlit, we walk with him through the past and the present, as he goes through the production of the new movie versus the production of the old movie. We learn about the other members of the crew and a lot of strange occurrences in the cast that actually led to the film not being released. This one was really hard for me to put a finger on, to put a review on, because there are so many things that are fantastic about it, and there are so many things that I did not like at all. I can't speak to the physical reading experience because this one was one that I listened to on an audiobook. I feel like for some reason I always mention when it's an audiobook and I don't mention when it's a physical book. I need you to know that the distribution of the books that I consume is roughly 50-50. Audiobooks and physical books. Just putting that out there. Okay. The audiobook was super cool, and it was so super easy to follow. There were a lot of like auditory cues that are not normal of an audiobook, like music and papers rustling and things like that, that really made it like an ambient experience. There's also like a full cast, so there's multiple voices, super easy to keep up with. As far as the actual plot goes, the 90s timeline is so good. There are so many things that, like, as soon as I think that they're going to become cliched and kind of overdone, they get subverted at the last minute, and it's something totally different and unexpected. I had so much fun with the 90s storyline. The present storyline really irritated me, to be honest. The main character is very, like, edgy and self-absorbed in a way that made it hard for me to root for him, and that's something that, like, obviously could be intentional in the author's writing, but by the time we got to the ending, the whole thing just felt really, like, edgelordy and overstated, I guess. Like, it felt like we were really hammering something home, and I was kind of confused about what we were hammering home, if that makes sense. I think that I can see why a lot of people loved this, and I'm so glad for them, but I personally felt by the end of it that it was a little bit directionless, and I was just kind of confused about what we were doing and what we were trying to say. I think that's the thing, is like certain novels are written with the idea that they're gonna like make a statement, but we haven't really decided what that statement is, you know, like we're just gonna really yell about something. The next book on the list is The Deep by Nick Cutter. I made a whole video about this, and honestly, I think I'm just gonna mostly skip over it in this recap. It is a horror novel about this apocalyptic disease, and this man goes underwater to this lab in the Mariana Trench to find solutions, and instead what he finds are some like crazy cosmic horrors beyond our comprehension. I liked this book. I just have some complicated feelings about it, but I made a video about it, so you can go watch that. That was the last video I posted before I fell off the face of the earth. And I know, again, all 4 of my subscribers were really concerned in my absence, but I'm back, so it's fine. The next book on the list is Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. Is it Crichton? I rated this one 4 stars. I don't really feel like this one needs a lot of explaining. Everybody knows what Jurassic Park is. It was an entertaining read. It's like a modern classic. Again, something that I kind of felt like was just part of my, like, cultural education, in a way. So yeah, it was good. Next is Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy. When I'm Glad My Mom Died came out, I was really, really pleasantly surprised with Jeanette McCurdy's style. I was thinking it was going to be just another celebrity memoir, but it really touched me, and I really liked her voice. So when I heard that she was coming out with a novel, I was so super excited about it. Half His Age follows a somewhat troubled 17-year-old girl named Waldo who has somehow fallen for her pudgy, balding, older English teacher. Creative writing teacher, actually. It chronicles how their relationship goes from a teenage crush to a sordid love affair. Extended period of abuse. I really enjoyed reading this one. I enjoyed following Waldo's growth throughout her relationship with Mr. Courtney. When I was reading reviews, I was really surprised at how many people were complaining about Waldo's inner monologue. They were like, oh my god, she's so annoying. Yeah, she's a 17-year-old girl. Duh, babe. Like, I was super annoying at 17 too. I thought it was cool that it was like, it felt very authentic and very real to me. Like, I really did feel like, oh, yeah, this is like, yeah, I am listening to a teenage girl right now. Now, I know there are some heavy themes here, and something that I question a lot is whether or not we're really adding to the conversation. And I mean like capital T, capital C, the conversation. Do I think that this book really adds to the conversation? Not necessarily. Not really, no. But I do think that it's very well written. I do think that Jeanette McCurdy should get her flowers for her intense characterization. And I thought it was an interesting read. So, do with that what you will. Okay, we are finally into 5-star territory. The first one is Creep by Emma Van Straten. When I read the first sentence of the blurb of this book, I was like, give me that now. I need it yesterday. This book follows a woman in love, okay? But the thing is, he doesn't know that she's in love with him because she's his housekeeper. And I don't even think he really knows what she looks like. But she loves him bad. She uses his toothbrush. She naps in his bed during the day when he's not there. She replies to emails for him. Anyway, I can't get too far into this because I'm going to spoil it for you, and I absolutely do not want to do that. But think of it as like kind of a gender swapped You by Caroline Kepnes. You as in like you, like Joe Goldberg You. I would say that that's a fair comparison. It's like You. It's kind of hard for me to give a review of this book, just like it was for me to talk about Normal People, because there are certain books that I feel like giving a really honest review is like getting naked. Does that make sense? If you get it, you get it. And if you don't, you don't. Either way, good for you. This is weird girl literature, okay? This is what I've been looking for. If you're a lonely girl who often feels like a freak of nature, this book might be like looking in a funhouse mirror for you. You might think, oh my gosh, what if I had zigged instead of zagged one day in like 7th grade? Like, I might be her. I might have ended up like that. And I think that's what makes it so powerful and so frightening. You might discover that you relate to the main character, as scary and uncomfortable as that is. I'm saying you because not me, okay? I have never fantasized about how a man's love might make me into a real girl, a real normal girl who people suddenly love and enjoy being around. Not me. You maybe though. Stay safe. Art is meant to comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable, yada yada, blah blah blah. I loved this book. Loved this book. The next 5-star read is The Stepford Wives by Ira Levin. This was another book that just seems like required reading in the American cultural zeitgeist. I mean, if it's like been referenced on Family Guy, I need to know about it. That was such a bad way to put that. What I mean is, I've heard like, oh, this is so Stepford Wives so many times, and I didn't know what that meant. So I read the book. For those of you who didn't know, like me, Don't Worry Darling is like reheated Stepford Wives nachos, okay? The novel follows a woman named Joanna who moves her small family into the town of Stepford. She is a very progressive woman, and she has a progressive husband, and they have a really hard time assimilating into the very conservative views of the people in Stepford. The community has a men's club, but it doesn't offer any social or recreational clubs for women. None of the women even really seem interested in recreation, as they're so focused on their homemaking duties. She does manage to make a few progressive female friends in Stepford, but they start going on vacation and coming back different women. Joanna knows something is going wrong, but can she fix it before it's too late? To me, this book is like Fight Club, Jekyll and Hyde levels of like, oh my god, imagine being able to read that at the time that it came out. Like having no prior understanding of what might be coming, no cultural references, no nothing, just reading this for the first time. I'm so jealous. That was crazy town. Crazy town. I had a really, really difficult time believing that this book was written by a man, okay? Because being a heterosexual woman and a feminist sometimes carries some complicated, difficult feelings with it. And so for a man to get on his little typewriter and perfectly transcribe those feelings on paper was really interesting to me. I was like, whoa, crazy. Anyway, it was a really awesome read, and it's a classic for a reason. Check it out. The next 5-star read, y'all, The Merge by Grace Walker. Oh wow. I don't really know what drew me to this novel because I don't feel like the blurb does a great job of like sucking you in. I don't know. I was just called to it, and I'm so glad that I was called to it. The Merge follows Amelia, who's a 23-year-old woman taking care of her mom, Lori, who has dementia. The two of them have been provided with a really unique opportunity. They can participate in a clinical trial for a procedure called the Merge. Basically, what this procedure does is download two people's consciousness into one body. The Merge is seen as a climate control solution in the United Kingdom, lowering the population, decreases your carbon footprint, etc., etc. Point is, a lot of people have already participated in the Merge and are living together in one body very happily. The reason that Lori and Amelia's case is a clinical trial is because of Lori's dementia. They are in a group of people who are ailing and are hoping to be fixed by the Merge. So there's also a young boy with leukemia who's going to merge with his brother. There is a young girl who's a drug addict who's going to merge with her dad. They are hoping to find out if merging can cure some of these ailments, whether it be drug addiction or dementia or cancer, etc., etc. Wow. I cannot recommend this book enough. Like, truly, I cannot recommend this book enough. For all the girls who were obsessed with the Hunger Games and the Maze Runner and those dystopian series as a teen, I have found the book for you. You gotta read it, okay? It's crazy. The only complaint that I did see when I was reading reviews that I do understand was that people were saying that, like, for science fiction, it's not very science-y, and I agree. They don't really explain how the merge works at all, which, hey, I don't really care. Fair enough. Like, whatever. Some people cannot have any fun. Just participate in the thought exercise and have a good time, okay? Whatever. Let's not worry about the logistics. Also, it doesn't make any sense for them to explain the logistics to Lori and Amelia because, as I mentioned, a lot of people have already done it. This is already, it's like getting Botox now. Like, a lot of people have already done it. Okay? Whatever. Last, but most certainly not least, is The Bog Wife by Kay Chronister. This is another internet recommendation. The cover hooked me. I can't lie, okay? I'm a sucker for a good cover. I will judge a book by its cover, sue me. Bog Wife follows the Hattersley family. 5 siblings who have lived their entire lives in seclusion. All except Winna, one of the middle siblings, she did leave, and they have not seen her for 10 years. For generations, the Hattersley family has followed the same ritual. The patriarch of the family, at the end of his life, must be sacrificed to the bog on their land. In exchange for the patriarch, the bog produces a wife for the eldest son, making him the new patriarch, and the cycle continues throughout generations. This time, when the 5 siblings gather for their father's sacrifice, the bog doesn't hold up its end of the bargain. The novel follows them as they navigate the confusion and uncover generations of secrets. This is one of my new favorite books ever, okay? The Hattersley siblings are my close personal friends, okay? Those are my close personal friends. I have never seen an author capture family dysfunction like this before. It's just so good. I really don't know what else to say about it. It just really, like, reached inside me. I think the plot is compelling. It's almost kind of like one of those stories where nothing happens kind of things. Like, in a way, the plot is not this, like, big, huge, crazy thing. But I personally was, like, in love every second of it and, like, could not wait to read more. So, yeah, that is going to be everything that I read in February and March of 2026. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. I'm about to film another video literally right now that will be everything that I read in April and May. So stay tuned for that one. Bye!